Hi, I'm Jim Culbertson, Director of Church Planting in the Allegheny District, and this is our story. The Allegheny District got its start in the late 1970s, early 1980s as the then very large Eastern District Association made the decision to subdivide into smaller districts. Out of that came the OPEN District. The OPEN District would oversee roughly half of Pennsylvania, half of New York, half of Ohio, all of West Virginia, and the Panhandle of Maryland. A few years later, it would change its name to become the awesome Allegheny District. From the very beginning, the Allegheny District leadership had as its vision the establishment of new churches. However, over the first 25 years, what we saw was mostly church growth by addition, adding a church here and a church there, and along the way closing some churches. Through the unfortunate circumstance of some of those church closures, the Allegheny District became the beneficiary of those assets. Through the sale of those properties, the Allegheny District Board set aside a fund specifically for church planting. With that fund, and with the new leadership of Jeff Powell, our superintendent, we began to focus on church health and church planting in new and vigorous ways. As church planting began to take shape in the Allegheny District, it became evident to the district board and to Jeff that some help was needed. In a casual conversation with Jeff, I suggested that perhaps my church leadership would allow me to come alongside 1 or 2 days a week to assist Jeff in the areas of church health or church planting. My leadership liked that idea, Jeff was enthused by that idea, and the Allegheny District Board concurred with that idea. So about 3 years ago, I came alongside Jeff as the part-time director of church planting. We began to further develop our ACTS systems for church planting: assessment, coaching, training, and supporting. That, coupled with a web presence and new involvement and new focus, we began to see church planting begin to grow in new and significant ways in the Allegheny District. New church planters and covenantal relationships among many of our Ohio churches led us to the point where our growth had blossomed in such a way that it would become necessary for me to step into a full-time role. So through a courageous step on the part of the Allegheny District Board, they made the recommendation a year ago to the district conference that I step into a full-time role as director of church planting. That recommendation was accepted, and May 1st, a year ago, I stepped into the role. If everything were to take root that we're now working with, this year we would see about 20 active church plants. That's an exciting answer to prayer to many in our district who've been around for a very long time. Why is it important that we plant churches in the Allegheny District? I can name about 12 million reasons why. Studies show that our district is made up of about 15 million people. A study by Dr. David Olson of the Evangelical Covenant Church reveals that only about 20% of Americans are actively involved in a church, and that includes Catholic, mainline, and evangelicals. Given those numbers, we know there are about 12 million people in the harvest fields that need to be reached for Jesus Christ. If as a district we were to reach just 1% of our unreached population in our district, that would mean we would need to start 400 new churches of 300 in size. But church planting is taking many different forms and shapes in our day. So in order to track what's happening not only in the Allegheny District, but as well as to provide some tracking for what's happening around our nation and even our globe, we created a blog, alleghenyplanting.blogspot.com, to help track some of what's happening here in our nation and around our world. We're excited for the things that are happening in the Allegheny District, and we're excited for the things that are happening at Evangelical Free Church. It's our prayer that we move from church growth by addition to true multiplication, where churches are birthing churches that are birthing churches, and we're seeing healthy believers learn what it means to love and follow Jesus and make disciples of other people. Thanks for your time, and thanks for this award for the Allegheny District as the Church Planting District of the Year. We're humbled by this and grateful to God for the opportunity to share in His harvest field. What a privilege. Thank you.